Welcome to TMC Newsroom. This is Carl Ford. I'm here with Kent Dix, who is the founder CEO of MedApps, and we're going to have a little product demo here. But first of all, tell us how old MedApps is.
MedApps is about 4 years old. We started, in Scottsdale, Arizona, with a team that worked around cell phone technology, putting applications on cell phones, and then went into MDM technology.
Okay, and specifically, with the term MedApps, I'm assuming we're going to talk about medical applications here.
Absolutely.
God, I'm brilliant.
There you go.
So the question I got for you is, what kind of apps do we have here?
Well, it's not traditional apps like you would load on a cell phone. We do have that available to us. But one of the things that we realized early on, there are some challenges to the cell phone marketplace, especially using them in an elderly population with healthcare and an indigent population as well. I don't know if you realize this, but not all cell phones are made alike or standardized, right?
I'm well aware of these issues.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
So it poses some challenges, especially from an economical standpoint as well. So about 2 years ago, we started getting into MDM technology and realized that a dedicated personal health device like this Health Pal that we have right here is much more adaptive and adoptive when we're trying to deal with an elderly population. They can just take their normal reading like they would on this pulse oximeter.
Right.
And this has Bluetooth in it as well. It'll go Bluetooth from this device over to that device. It will use the MDM technology to connect to the cell network and upload it into their personal health record.
Okay, and that personal health record, there's a back-end system that's being used by the doctor or the hospital or whoever's monitoring the stuff. Or
Absolutely, and that's the beauty. I mean, our back-end system is called HealthCom, which allows nurses to set a threshold, for diabetes readings, glucose readings, or weight or blood pressure. But it really is the power of MDM technology what we're really getting the bang for the buck in healthcare, which is that bidirectional communication with this device to allow a healthcare provider to query this device, change any configurations on it so they don't have to send a nurse to the home, to be able to load new programs on it with FOTA, firmware over the air, right? If this Bluetooth device becomes unpaired, they can remotely repair the MAC ID again with it. So it's a big cost savings to healthcare deploying these type of devices and monitoring a patient from a distance.
Right, and like you said before, if
Absolutely.
If I just grab it, one of the things that I notice is that we really only have 5 buttons here.
Right.
And what I like about it is, to your point, is in previous life of trying to deal with elderly folk, most phones have about 20 buttons associated with them, and it gets very confusing fast. This is very straightforward and kind of gives you a great answer as to what you're trying to accomplish here. So it's a nice, simple way for people to have the connection, which I like.
Yeah, and it also talks to you in any language too.
Oh, wonderful.
So it will go through and say your blood pressure reading's 125 or give you any other instructions too. Really, when I walked into my first patient's home, I noticed that device was covered in dust. And actually, I took it as a personal assault, like they weren't using the device, but they weren't touching the device. And that's what we don't want them to do. Just take the readings normally, just take the pulse ox like you would right here with Bluetooth. It will go automatically over to this device, and then it will go up to the server. They didn't have to touch a button whatsoever. It'll log onto the cell system.
And what's the range basically for the Bluetooth side?
This is a 1.5 class, so about 100 feet.
Oh, it just took your pulse.
Absolutely.
You're pretty healthy.
Kind of, and I'm up there on stage too as well, so it's going to be elevated a little bit. We found there's a lot of things that we can do from a wireless perspective from a healthcare that help people. Like a doctor will say to a congestive heart failure patient, come out of the shower in the morning, step on the scale, take your reading, get dressed, go down to your easy chair, take your blood pressure, go fix yourself some breakfast and take your glucose. Well, with a wired system, they have to run downstairs to their PC, they have to get all worked up and everything. With a wireless system and hands off as well, they can do everything naturally, and if they don't take the readings, then the IVR system, the voice response system, will call them and say, we didn't get your readings today. All right,
so it's a good reminder tickler system as well. So you got it all in there. That's great.
Well, one of the features, we're actually thinking that this is about 20% technology and about 80% psychology, that it's about getting people used to taking their readings and knowing if they don't, that there's going to be a consequence for it, that somebody's going to call them. And we find that most people start taking their readings through accountability. and then means they start taking their medication, which keeps them out of the hospital.
I like that answer.
Right,
it's
thanks.
nice idea as to how to make it so that it's part of your daily life rather than just being something you're trying to push onto yourself.
It's not a gadget.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
Pleasure to meet you.
It's nice meeting you as well. Thank
Thanks.
you.